I think so, Ron. You mentioned early on of a buried treasure somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Yes, I do feel it's here, but I will not disclose the location except to one person. That's the owner of the house, which I've already done, because it is hers.
All right, listen, we have...
Real quick, Mike, I almost called you Paul. You're shaking.
Yes, I am.
You always get like this when you promised a bone-chilling story at the radio station when we planned this.
I'm going to have to move away. He's some kind of kook.
And it was, but do you always have this reaction when you tell this story?
When I tell this story, or even when we talk about it, I mean,
your teeth are shivering.
Really, I'm not. I've been like this all evening, and I'm naturally, I don't wear a coat very often.
Well, put one on!
But when I tell this story, I do get chills.
All right. Well, I want to go real quick over to Antoinette.
We have to hurry.
You mentioned Shuggy, Paul's wife.
Right.
Antoinette
We have to hurry.
saw Shuggy in this house when she first became involved here. I want to pass the mic over to her.
We have to hurry.
And we will hurry. If you could please explain about Shuggy.
Well, the other day I told you about the first time I encountered the house. I heard the rapping on the inside of the house. That was about 2 years ago. I first came in the house of August this year, and the first being I encountered was in this front room on the other side, and I got the psychic image of a lady with dark hair and an extremely kind face, and she wanted to leave, and she couldn't. Well, when my daughter Alex and I came back to clean the house, psychically clean the house, she was very happy to know how to leave.
I have to tell you, Antoinette, being a virgin when it comes to this psychic activity.
Yeah.
When you said you cleaned the house and I first came here, I thought, well, you did a piss poor job. This place is filthy.
It's filthy.
I thought it was like Antoinette's house cleaning service, but that's not exactly what it is.
Well, if you saw my house, you would.
Well, maybe it is.
So anyway, when you showed me the pictures the other day that Mike had given you, I immediately recognized Shuggy as the lady that had been sitting in a rocking chair in the front room and wanted to leave but didn't know how until we showed her how. And she's a very sweet, kind lady, just as nice as she can be.
And this was Paul's wife.
Yes.
Okay. And also, again, Psychic Ron and the Preserves story, which I want to recount very quickly, that you told before ever coming here.
Right, that was kind of spooky for both of us because we were standing outside, Sunday 2 weeks ago, and I kept looking at you and I kept saying, preserves. What do preserves mean? And then I remember saying, well, it must be an old lady that used to live here that made preserves. And then, of course, we later found out that one of the ladies here that lived here in the past made preserves for a living. Mike confirmed that.
Right. She canned and did preserves all the time. She kept them right down in the wine cellar.
Right, and so we had just come out of the wine cellar when all this started coming to me. And that was the day we saw the apparition, which we captured on film above Antoinette there.
We did capture that on video, our first trip to this house. Well, a lot to get done. It's about 1:17. We've still got a levitation and a Ouija board segment to do before we sign off.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Hang on. Stephen D.C. live from the haunted house in Alton, Q104. I'm going 04 live from the haunted house in Alton, where we basically have the three biggest things left that we had planned to do.
It'll be hard to top Mike's story, and hard to top us all running up the stairs chasing that apparition.
What? Yes.
Which was really up there.
Right.
We're here to tell you, we saw this white mist with red eyes, and Courtney and I both saw it, and I'm not kidding you. I've been the biggest skeptic up until that point, and now I believe.
We want to say hi to all the people in their cars out in front of this house in Alton that are just lined up on. We're saying next year we should do this at a drive-in.
Yeah.
Everybody could have the speakers and.
I understand police made a few of them go because, you can't have beer and listen to the haunted house thing.
Although it kind of enhances the whole effect.
The three things that we basically had left where we were...
If you stop, sorry to interrupt, but I just got it real quick.
What is it?
A guy named Rooster. First of all, you should never associate with guys named Rooster. Sent us a voodoo doll. We had him from New Orleans.
Right, he's a voodoo...
High priest.
High priest, and he sent us a voodoo doll that has horns, and it's like a candle, and it looks like the shape of the devil, and it's on the back. Should I tell you what it says? J.C. Corcoran.
Which we requested, and he sent the pins, and he sent the little script to do the whole voodoo thing.
Which we'll do probably tomorrow morning.
Well, I don't know, because I think I've been persuaded by a couple of our psychics here that this is a bad thing, and here's why it's a bad thing.
Why is it a bad thing?
We can wish hell, basically, on him if we do this voodoo. Actually, you light this thing and let it burn down, and it's a little devil, and there are words to say here. And
why wouldn't we want to do that?
It involves opening the gates of hell. But whatever we were to wish on him would come back.
Come back on you tenfold.
Oh, now, I don't know.
Karma.
Karma, so he could come back.
So I don't know if we want to light this thing or not.
Well, skip it.
What goes around comes around. You do something good, it comes back tenfold. You do something bad, and it definitely comes back tenfold.
We'll just hang on to this just in case we ever...
Here's the deal. We have 3 things left. Obviously, the Ouija board, because we've had a lot of warnings about, and we're going to do some weird stuff with
Did
that.
you bring a Bible?
I did.
Because someone said, whatever you do, don't do this, and you feel a desire to do it, and that is to place a Bible on that Ouija board.
Well, we'll talk about it later. That's going to be the last thing that we do. We're going to levitate a table as well. The other thing that we wanted to do is kind of confusing. Maybe I was more interested in this than others, but I really was, and not from a sarcastic point of view, but I was genuinely interested because of what we hear about people that can contact the dead in talking to Bob Richards. But Janine says that's a tough thing to do.
Well, it's not tough, but you don't know what level he's on in spirit, and if he did cause his own death, he could be in a confused state.
Now,
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean in terms of you don't know if
the
it's
best
really
way-
Bob Richards?
Well, that's if you play the Ouija board.
In other words, it could be a demon pretending to be Bob Richards.
Exactly.
So you're opening yourself up to the demon.
What could we do in terms of asking you to channel Bob Richards through your body?
I won't do that. He committed suicide, or that's the word, that he committed suicide. He's probably in a confused state, and why aggravate him even more?
Now, what about Nicole, OJ's ex, who we mentioned on the air, channeling that spirit? You're same.
Her too.
Same
She would be
situation.
in a very confused state. I've located her. She's with her children. She hasn't left her children.
Is that right? Now, are these, when you say these people are in a confused state, people
the
who
best
died
way-
violent deaths?
Homicides, suicides, sudden heart attacks, car accidents. It's the same thing if you'd go to sleep here tonight and wake up in China tomorrow not understanding how you got there, didn't know the language, didn't know where you were, how you got there. You'd be a little confused.
In a confused state.
Exactly.
Lucky for DC, he speaks that language, and
so well.
and all the Chinese people there would be in a confused state.
So you don't think things like that break down to heaven or hell?
There's what we would refer to as heaven, hell, and purgatory. Yeah. That's our words for it.
The difference in hell and purgatory.
Isn't purgatory the place where people go when they're in the confused state and they're not in heaven or hell yet?
Yeah,
They're on their way to one of the two places.
Isn't that a Catholic thing, though? A Catholic belief?
Well, I'm Catholic.
Well, that's probably why you believe that, then.
No, we Presbyterians believe that also, I think.
We Methodists aren't committing.
Yeah, well, we Baptists, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So we'll bump that then, because who knows what could happen? Who knows
What evil lurks?
What evil lurks there? So basically, there are 2 things left that we'd like to do, and that is levitate a table, and use the Ouija board
To call up whatever spirits, I guess, are here. And would Paul speak to us on the Ouija board if he saw fit?
One thing about Paul, Zeke was starting to bring Paul forward, and that's when Antoinette saw his energy starting to come forward.
I have a desire to communicate with Paul somehow. Would it be possible before we attempt the levitation, which we're getting ready for, and before we do the Ouija board, to bring Ezekiel back? Is that possible? Ron, is that advisable?
Listen, you're not going to believe what we experienced. Get our police officer friend in here. We're just going to call him Officer X because of he doesn't want to use his name. But
What happened?
we have 2 witnesses. We were down in the basement.
What happened?
In total darkness, we saw 2 different entities. One of them was greenish, flashed across in front of us. It was first stationary, then flashed across. The other one was just sort of laying on the floor. Tell everyone about it. This is Officer X.
I was downstairs with Ron, and at that time, I'm a little skeptical, but not as much so anymore. We were in there. We had our flashlights on for a second. We turned our flashlights off. There was no other type of light sources in the basement. At that time, we saw a stationary object. It was just a faint green glow, real small, and it seemed like it went into 2, and it crossed from the one side of the room and went toward the other side. And there was absolutely no light source coming into the basement. and
That's unreal.
I've got a different attitude now. So
We now have a believer in what we're doing tonight.
Wow.
And we're also asking someone to bring an extra pair of underpants by the house. The officer needs to change his britches.
Ron, was that in the area where the children were playing that I saw?
We started out in that area, yes, because I first saw something in there as I went in by myself. Well, then my friend went in ahead of me, however, didn't see anything. Then we came back out, and there it was. It had apparently had change rooms right on us. It's down there. We saw it. It's unreal.
Why don't we have Janine try to channel some spirits that are in this house into her body right now? Can we bring Ezekiel back?
All right.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to hit you in the face with the microphone, Janine.
Oh, she'll get you when you least expect it.
Please don't.
That's right. You're sleeping here tonight. She's not.
She's channeling Ezekiel back into her body right now. And then Ezekiel will bring spirits that are in this house into the body as well.
Keep in mind, if you may have just joined us, that earlier when we asked Ezekiel about the spirit of Paul who died in this house, he appeared to Courtney first and to several others at the top of the stairs in the form of a mist.
Again, I do say good evening to you. This body did release my energies extremely fast. I was being asked to bring forward the spirit entity referring to man, Paul person. Now, please, I do not mean to sound extremely direct. I do apologize. But I am going to ask Paul to come forward, and if there are those that are standing at staircase, please be aware Paul will be coming forward down staircase. Last name of Paul, please.
Lashinger.
Lashinger. Correct?
Yes.
Paul Lashinger. Paul person is standing behind the body that I do use. I would assume that each of you can feel his presence at this time. If I give, please, information from Paul, is there anyone here that can confirm the information?
Yes, Mike.
Yes, there is.
Great-great-grandson.
This man, Paul, welcomes all of you to his residence.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Paul is showing me two faces that belong to him. One extremely drawn, thin, which could have been due to illness, and he's pointing to chest area. Did Paul person have heart? I know he had a heart, my goodness. But was there problems in the chest area? Difficulty with breathing, very difficult breathing. Also, Heart area, a weakness, extreme weakness.
I'm not sure about the heart, but definite with the breathing.
Lungs, the
Lungs.
breathing, putting strain upon the heart. Showing me deep thinness within the face, but now here, standing behind this body, heavy-set man, heavy-set, full face, feeling very, very strong.
At one time when he was younger, yes.
This, in spirit, will show where they were and now where they are, showing you, Michael, that he is a healthy entity again. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
I am asking Paul about the residence. He is asking, please, who took down all of the trees?
I don't know about that.
Where
All I know is
are
the fire.
all of the trees? And he does not like, and it's not an angry not liking, but he does not like, I am not going to repeat that.
Oh, you have to. What is it?
What is it?
He is not appreciative of those that are close to this now place which we sit.
What do you mean by that? People outside the house or people in here?
No.
The owners of the house?
He is pointing that way. Paul, very nervous. Handshakes. So could you please ask about this? Over here, residents. He says that he also goes over there to visit.
Next door.
Does not like the animal there.
Dog next door. There's a
Does
dog
not
next door.
like. Says he is a nuisance. A nuisance. And then he puts the head back and laughs. Very, very, very hard. He said also to the new people that now own his home that the well that is to the left-hand side of the rear of the residence needs more filling. It is sinking and could cause a danger. People present that do own this residence now?
Sharon.
Yes.
Do you know of this well, or what Paul says is the well?
I think I know where the area is, yes.
Could cause danger. He is concerned about little people,
Okay.
children.
Okay, well, we will take care of that.
Home improvement with Paul. Can I ask Paul a question?
Mm-hmm.
What does Paul think of what we're doing right now with this radio show and this broadcast from his house? Is he upset by that? How does Paul feel?
As you ask this question, he smiles very big, and says, no, this house was always filled with people and laughter.
Were there any deaths here? Violent deaths of any kind?
He says the boy's still missing, and the girl did it to herself.
All right, we're getting a reaction from Antoinette and Alexis here.
What does Paul mean by that? What does Paul mean by that?
Nobody pushed her down the steps. She fell by herself.
Alexis.
Hit her head.
Alexandria. Yeah, she was at the top of the steps. She was carrying a tray. She was between the ages of 14 and 18. She may have either been a maid or a family member. She was, did I say she was wearing a white dress? She did not look where she was going. She either tripped over her own foot or slipped. She fell down this flight of steps between the second and first floors. She broke her neck.
Did you ever find the boy?
Possibly, if you mean the baby
Wait a
who
minute,
was in the room.
Well, Psychic Ron thinks there's a body somewhere on this property.
There's a boy.
A little boy in the room right next to the steps that she fell down.
No.
About 3 years old. It's the only boy I had ever picked up.
Young person appears to be 5, ages 5 to 7 years of age.
What is it? Where's Ron?
That's what Psychic Ron predicted or saw when the first time he came into the house. He was telling us the next day when you all were here the very first time that he had seen a young boy, age 5, and he also mentioned another boy that he thought was dead and buried on this premises, possibly in the well.
Possibly, is there a body in the well?
Choked.
Choked? The boy was choked? Is there a body in the well?
Did Paul choke the boy?
No.
Oh, for goodness sake, Paul's a very nice man.
Is there a body in the well?
No.
No.
Under earth.
Buried.
There's a body under earth.
A very large cedar tree. Very large cedar tree. This was accident.
So there were 2 deaths. Am I getting this right? In this house?
4.
4 deaths, but 2 violent deaths. One.
Another one, violent accident. The very angry man.
Who's the very angry man?
I told this body, and this body related it to Michael about the man, the angry man. There was to be a store here. And the same people that tried to keep you from entering into this residence are the same people that kept this person from having store here.
Who are these people?
We don't want to discuss. You have a tendency to get into trouble.
No kidding.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. You really didn't have to.
Well, no, this is Ezekiel.
Well, you know, Paul's, he's tapping you on the shoulder and stuff. Are you talking about us having a problem getting into the residence?
To do this broadcast.
This body told me about this. Why Ezekiel? Why is Courtney having now problems to enter into residence?
Same person that caused Courtney the problems getting this broadcast. People. That getting this broadcast approved caused.
Not the exact same people, but from that area.
Right. Caused problems with this being a store in the past. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there any way for Paul
to go see a chiropractor, for goodness sake?
Excuse me, Ezekiel?
Chiropractor.
When am I going to see a chiropractor? Should I see a chiropractor?
Well, you should know.
I have no problem at the moment.
Lower back.
I have no problem to date.
I have it.
Thank you for your honesty. It is very, very difficult when so many are sitting close to receive energies and confuse them. I do apologize. You need to see chiropractor.
Thank you. I have in the past, actually.
Is there any way for Ezekiel, for Paul, to make his presence known, since he does, as you say, enjoy this whole thing? Because I am a bit skeptical. Please don't hit me.
He will... he says he's partial to color green. And when things become more quiet, he will do movement with green blanket.
Do we have a green blanket in here? Oh, dear God, that's my bed. I'm going to be sleeping in the van.
Can I say something real quick?
Say to me, you asked, and he is going to give. So perhaps this is why he chose your bed.
Perhaps it is. All I can say is, thank you, Paul.
Sharon, owner of the house, has something to say.
I want to know if I will see Paul, if he will show himself to me, and is he happy with what we're doing so far?
He smiles so very big and says, to say thank you is not enough. I ask, will you see him? He says, I do promise all will see me on this night. A Courtney person.
Courtney person what?
She will ask of me a question.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying she would see.
Yeah, it's really weird because earlier Ezekiel said that this person that died had the same problems as I did getting admittance into this house. Now, before we came tonight, I was scrambling until about 5:30 to 6 o'clock with certain people
to get final approval.
Yes, in the city with all the problems. Now, if you're talking about the same guy, this guy was denied by the city to do something that he truly wanted to do. Am I correct?
Correct. He didn't make his transition right out here in front of residents.
Lawnmower or something with a lawn? Was there anything with a lawnmower?
What Michael said to this body. Michael said, if that isn't coming from me, I must give truth at all times.
So this person that died, though, from you, I'm asking you from you, not from what Michael said, is this person, did he have anything to do with the city and getting denied access to do something that he wanted to?
Correct. You are correct.
Very
Angry
what,
man.
What, Courtney?
Angry man.
I had no way to know what I went through before this broadcast. No clue. I didn't talk to, Janine, Ezekiel, anybody. I went through hell.
I know, yes. We talked.
Last minute.
Yes, last minute.
Last minute.
Scrambling around. And it's just unbelievable to me. I have this chill all over my body right now.
Very strange.
This body did say to me, please, that I must go because I am taking away from others and I am not allowed to allow ego to become a negative for me. This is not good. So this body did ask of me to go. I thank each and every one of you for speaking with me, and God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Ezekiel.
Thank you.
And thank you, Psychic Janine. The Chandler. Wow. 10 minutes till 2, Stephen D.C. live from Alton. We're in a house filled with spirits and psychic activity.
And you know what's next?
Yes. Psychic Ron joins us, and we will attempt to levitate a table with some of the energy in this room. And then we've got our final Ouija board segment. Psychic Ron, are we ready for this levitation, you think?
Yeah, I think we are. We need to pick some people to help with the table. We need to pull the table out so we can get the people around. Okay. And we're going to see what we can do.
We will be back. Please
give a good shot. Yes.
Stay up. Stay with us. Stephen D.C. on Q104.
Hey, All right, we're back. Stephen D.C., Q104. Listen, last-minute change of plans. The levitation, because we're running short on time, it is nearly 2 a.m. right now. Because we're running short on time, Psychic Ron will do that tomorrow morning with us. It's probably one of the first things we'll do when we come on the air tomorrow at 5:30.
It does take a little time to prepare for this. You don't just come on and say, now levitate table, do you, Ron?
That will be done.
No, we don't. But I tell you what, let's do the Ouija board.
Let's clear out the room.
I think
and dim the lights.
Would be perfect, and I'm going to do it.
You are going to do it.
You got to get me a woman to come sit down with me, and we're going to do it.
Excuse me?
I'll do it.
Can we dim these lights a little more?
Courtney is terrified. She's, I guess, seen her first apparition tonight, and her mom said she couldn't. Kim, Madam Coochie Furlow, is doing this. She is volunteering. We need to make that clear. This is the segment that we were warned about for weeks. for all kinds of reasons.
And I wasn't going to do this at first because I was really skeptical about the whole situation. And then I saw this apparition upstairs, and I've never seen anything like that. And so I think that Paul is a good spirit kind of person. So
That's what we're told.
yeah, so I don't think that's going to be too big of a problem.
All right, so our levitation on the broadcast in the morning between 5:30 and 10 with Psychic Ron. Now Psychic Ron is going to join Madame Cucci at the table. We're clearing out the room. We're darkening the room. And we have one of the old-fashioned wooden Ouija boards on the table. Where is DC?